I wanted to do like a share program like farms do with their vegetables. And so it's like a community supported bakery where you buy in for, right now it's 20 weeks, and then each week you get a box of baked goods, and you get to try different things each week. I rotate what you get, so a lot of the times you'll get 15 to 20 different kinds of cookies throughout the whole session, and different dessert each week.
This is Peak Moment. We are living at a peak of human innovation, information, wealth, and health. But we're also at a peak of population and consumption, with rising temperatures and declining resources fueled by cheap oil and gas. Peak Moment Television, bringing you examples of positive responses to energy decline and climate change through local community action.
Hi, welcome to Peak Moment. I'm Janaea Donaldson. I'm in a garage behind a house in residential Olympia, Washington at 8 Arms Community Bakery, and I'm with Chief Baker Proprietress Jen Owenby. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, what are you making? Come on, you got me curious.
Zucchini bread.
And I got to say that walking in here is so intoxicating. There's the fragrance of what any good bakery, better than a good bakery, right? There's loaves of bread. You got to get a picture of this. There's bread and cookies and bars and oh my goodness. Tell us what all have you baked here and why this great stash?
Well, right now there's bread over there for my bakery shares, which get picked up tomorrow for some wholesale that I do at the co-ops, and a couple of bookstores in town and a couple of cafes, and then also a whole bunch of bread and bars and cookies for the farmers market in Tumwater.
Which is tomorrow too?
Tomorrow as well.
So tomorrow sounds like a big delivery pickup day?
Yeah.
Wow, we came the right day.
Yeah.
Well, let me back up and ask, okay, so what are you making here? So
this is zucchini bread for the bakery shares. The shares basically get 4 things each week.
Okay.
And one of the things they're getting this week is zucchini bread, along with sprouted grain bread, which is considered their slicing bread. This is the specialty bread, and then they get cookies and a dessert. And then the cookies are chocolate chip this week, and apple upside down cake.
It's going to be very hard to just not want to nibble at every single thing this week. Let me back up and say, you've called it a community bakery, and you also talk about shares. So can you tell us how you operate? Because this isn't a storefront bakery.
Right. I think my original idea, which came from a conversation with a friend of mine like 4 years ago almost, that I wanted to do like a share program like farms do with their vegetables. And so it's like a community supported bakery where you buy in for, right now it's 20 weeks, and then each week you get a box of baked goods, and you get to try different things each week. I rotate what you get, so a lot of the times you'll get 15 to 20 different kinds of cookies throughout the whole session, and different dessert each week, and different specialty breads and slicing breads. And then because I do it that way, I can be a little bit flexible with what people want. Some people don't want the specialty bread, but just want a whole loaf of the slicing bread. And so because I know ahead of time what people are going to get, I can do it for what they want.
Sort of semi-customized,
right,
is what you're doing.
Right, and I have like a general, like this is what a full share looks like, but I can be really flexible about.
So how many shareholders do you have?
I think about 28 right now.
And that's a lot of loaves of bread to come up with, or everything each week.
Yeah, each week.
In addition to, well, I shouldn't,
No,
in addition to your 28 shareholders, so you've got, a little tiny bit of a break for maybe, 3 weeks in the whole year, or a month or something.
Yeah, it ends up being.
Do you do sort of a winter share and a summer share or something?
I did. I just switched this last year. I was doing 3 15-week sessions a year, and then I kind of wanted to align with the farm CSAs. So I went to a 20-week session in the summer, and then I did a January through May 20-week session. And then I think what I'll do in November is do a short, like 6-week one, like right before the holidays.
I would think.
And sort of as maybe an introductory way to like, you know, try it out for 6 weeks.
That's a nice way to do that. That's
Yeah.
sure. Oh wow! Wow, do it in the holidays especially. What led you to? I mean, let's start at the very, you know, early beginnings. How did you get yourself doing this?
Well, I've always liked to bake. My mom always made like, she never baked bread or anything, but she always made probably 1,000 Christmas cookies every year. That was this incredible amount she would put in the freezer, and we weren't allowed to touch them until Christmas Eve. But it was like thousands of cookies every year. And so I've always been making cookies, and I don't know. And then I have a friend that we started talking about doing a bakery summit, was what we were calling it. And I was gonna show him how to make cookies, and he was gonna show me how to make bread. And so we did that for a couple years. And then he and I were talking one day, and this idea came up, and I was sort of unhappy with what I was doing with my career. And I don't know, I was teaching, and I got to the end of the school year and just decided I couldn't go back. And so I took a leave of absence and made a brochure and started. And
how was that?
It was scary. It was a little scary not knowing like that I was gonna. I mean, and with teaching, you get a paycheck every month, and
Sure.
yeah, this is a little more unsure, but like I've been so much happier, and you know, I'm getting to do what I like to do and set my own schedule. And I mean, there's times of the year where it's a little bit crazier. Like right now, it's pretty crazy, and I'm doing 2 farmers markets and the shares and a whole bunch of wholesale. But you know, it's way better than what I was doing. And,
So you followed a dream,
yeah,
and it's working.
it's working. Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
Just about 3 years exactly.
So you somehow got the word out. Did you start with the CSA part of
Yeah, I
this?
started with the CSA part.
Because that would give you
and
some
that's-
certainty of.
Right, and that was sort of what I wanted to, like, that's the part of the business I really wanted to do. I hadn't even thought at the time about wholesale or anything else, but, and I had in my original shares 45 or something like that. A bunch of my friends were really great about, like, supporting my, like, decision to change careers, and they signed up for the first share session, and that was really great. But yeah, I just started putting brochures out. I put them in, I contacted a bunch of farms and put them in CSA boxes. And yeah, I just ended up with a bunch of people signed up, and I've learned a lot as I've gone along about, you know, what people like and what people don't. And I've learned a lot about how to make bread, especially yeast bread, which I felt like was sort of my weakness when I started. But, you know, I've got a bunch of kinds that, like, have come into their own. Like I have this dark rye that's really great, and this
Give us a little
sunshine.
tour. What's down on the bottom shelf on the left? Is that a
This
big?
one, yeah, this is a gluten-free. That's a dark teff bread, sort of like rye, but with gluten-free flour.
And next to it?
And this one is jalapeno cheese. And then this is called Granny's bread. It's sort of like the bread my grandma used to make, although not as dense as hers. This one is oatmeal molasses. This is the sprouted grain bread. Then there's some gluten-free bread next to it. This is called Sunshine. It has cornmeal in it. This is Gorgonzola olive, dark rye. That's some more sprouted grain. And this is potato, rosemary, garlic. Oh, and in the pan still are the cinnamon raisin swirl.
Did you get the stuff out of the oven? I remember that
Oh,
you're
I do
keeping
have
an
to
eye on
get
the
some
oven,
stuff
so
out of the
I
oven,
can
yeah.
smell it, and I don't want it to go past
Right.
its time there.
This is also zucchini bread.
So everybody on camera, you just have to imagine sort of this wafting, wonderful flavor of slightly sweetened, sort of honey, and there's an aroma to fresh baked goods that nothing else has. How do you describe this? You must be in heaven
Sort
every
of
time.
warm. I probably don't notice it as much
I
as
mean,
like
right.
other people do.
I
I
get
know my
cinnamon.
neighbor told me one day that I was trying to kill him because he kept smelling cinnamon rolls, and he can't eat cinnamon rolls. And I tried to give him some, but he's like, no, I can't eat cinnamon rolls.
So Jen, when you started, were you just baking out of your house?
Yeah,
How did all this work out?
I was using the community center downtown in Olympia. It has it's a senior center that has a kitchen you can rent, and then, you know, doing some under the radar kind of stuff at home too, and about a little more than a year ago, like about a year and a half ago, decided I needed like a spot of my own, and so I decided to convert the garage here into an actual kitchen. And there wasn't water out here. There was electricity, but it was the kind that came through knob and tube.
Oh, so it
like
didn't have...
old school electricity. So I had a couple friends help me, and they put up new siding, and we redid the walls inside and put in plumbing, and there's a bathroom, and and did the whole, like, it's permitted through the Washington State Department of Agriculture, who kind of permits people who do wholesale stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's permitted through the city too, and and everybody was very helpful with the whole process. The guy from the Department of Agriculture is really easy to work with, and
oh, good.
He was more concerned that my labels say the right things. So
So you've had a whole lot of learning to do about, I mean, not only setting your space and gathering dozens and dozens of recipes, but getting your ingredients probably in quantity and storage and labeling.
Yeah. It's I mean, when I first started, one of the people that lives across the street is one of the major people that works at the food co-op on the west side here, and she helped me with some bulk ordering stuff, and I was, bulk ordering flour and sugar and oil, maybe. Not very much stuff, butter, and it's taken me, like, slowly but surely I order more and more stuff in bulk as I've gotten busier, and it's more cost efficient. Now I'm getting a company out of Oregon, Glory Bee, is bringing every other week flour and most of my dry ingredients, and then I order butter and eggs still through the co-op.
So what are the challenges that you have found in this venture?
Some of the challenges are, like, I have to really plan ahead if I want a day off. Right now I'm only really getting one day off a week. And so, some friends of mine want to go hiking on Friday and invited me, but, it means rearranging my schedule so that I can make that happen. And that's a real benefit sometimes, but it's also, nobody else is going to do it if I don't do it.
Yes. Do you have helpers? Well, this goes to the 8 Arms name. You might sometimes feel like you have 8 arms or wish you had.
That's sort of like when I first started, I thought I really like octopus. I think they're very intelligent and clever, and they change colors. They're really neat. And so then I thought I had this sort of picture in my head of an octopus with, like, a baker's hat on and, things in each of its hands. Yes. And then I thought it might look like, that I had 8 arms when I was doing, all this stuff. And it hadn't even occurred to me that it might mean 4 people, which is, a lot of people ask that, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. No, that's not what it means. So, it's just me, and I do the delivering and the all the baking, and I'm at 2 farmers markets.
So tomorrow, when you do your delivery day, tell us what that's like.
So I get here early on Wednesday, like 6:30, and then I package up all the stuff that I baked today, and then I load up the truck, and then I go to Tumwater and do the farmer's market, set up the farmer's market, and then the farmer's market runs from 11 to 2. Take everything down, pack it back in the truck, then do the delivery. Sometimes I have to go to cash and carry to get some kind of bulk thing that they have there. Then I go to the East Side Co-op, I go and do my East Olympia drop location where some of my share people pick up. It's at one of the bakery members' houses. And then I go downtown and I deliver to 3 places downtown, pick up my mushroom CSA, and then come to the west side, go to the co-op over here, come back here, drop everything off, and then I drive to Shelton and deliver.
Which is a nearby town.
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes away, and deliver to 2 places out there. So.
And then come home and drop.
Yeah.
That's a lot of action in one day. And you and for all of those deliveries, I mean, that huge. Is that your hopefully one day a week massive deliveries?
Yeah, and I do deliveries on Mondays and Fridays to the co-ops.
Okay.
But Wednesday is in one place in Shelton on Mondays and Fridays
So how
too.
many days are you baking?
Right now 4. Wednesday I don't bake, but I'm here, and then I bake 4 days. It's less in the winter. Things are slower.
Get a chance to catch your breath seasonally. I want to say that I'm totally impressed that you have put all of the ingredients in for zucchini bread without
I might have to
measuring spoons.
Think.
And you also have it memorized how to do this. What do your share members tell you?
I think I have some share members that I've had from the very beginning, and that makes me happy to remember that, like, even because that is one of the other challenges is that I'm all the time trying to get more members because that's sort of the thing that I like the most. And so I'm constantly trying to talk up the shares, and that's sort of exhausting. But then I have to remember that, I must be doing something good, even though people don't always stay for, multiple, more than, 1 or 2 share sessions, or maybe 3. I do have some people that have been doing it so this will be this is like the 8th one they've been doing.
So how much, at this time, how much does a share cost for the 20 weeks of 4 items a week?
Depends on the size you get. I do a full share, which is full loaves of each of the breads, a dozen cookies, and then 4 pieces of dessert. And that's $400 for 20 weeks. So it's $20 a week.
Okay.
And then the half share is just half of each of those things. And that is my most popular share.
I could imagine.
It works really well for small families and for certain couples and some people that live by themselves. And then I do have a mini share, which I added after I had a bunch of people that lived by themselves that wanted to keep doing it, but a half share was too much. And so you get half a loaf of bread and 1 sweet item that I rotate.
And what does that come to for on a weekly basis?
That one is $5 a week.
Oh, that's totally.
And the half share is $10 a week.
I mean, it sounds to me, at least, that knowing what breads cost, that's a really reasonable price, and you've made it. Your flexibility has made it possible for people to.
Yeah, and so I have lots of people. I would say about half the people have some type of special thing they want done with their share, and it works fine because I know ahead of time that they want the specialty bread instead of slicing or whatever it is.
And so your ingredients, do you try to use organic on some of this?
About 80% of it's organic. I kind of have to weigh what I can afford because I want it to be affordable for people. So, all the flour is organic, all the sugar is organic, but the oil is not. The butter and eggs aren't. But the eggs come from a farm that I think is in Yelm, which is like 20 minutes from here as well. And
so they're local.
They're local. All the vegetables that I use are local, except sometimes in the winter. But, the zucchini here, some of it's from a couple of my friends that are farmers and some people at the farmer's market. And some stuff I grow them in the yard. Yeah, I'm trying to use local stuff, and I think it's important to support the farmers that are around here. And, we talk each other up at the farmer's market. The woman who sells for one of the farms in Tumwater, tells everybody she's talking to there, you should go get some bakery goods, and,
It's great to help each other. That sense of, you're food community, if you will, or food
Yeah,
producing community.
and I mean, I like knowing who's growing my food, and my boyfriend and I get our meat from somebody that we know at the Shelton Market, and yeah, it's nice to, know that it wasn't grown in some factory.
Oh goodness, yes. Did it take a lot of investment and money to acquire, this equipment? Did you start small and grow? How did you do that?
Well, because I started without a kitchen of my own, it was pretty inexpensive to get started. Initially, I just had to buy like the initial ingredients and like printing of the brochures and stuff, but then this remodel was a pretty big investment, and I had a fundraiser, and I did. Come on in. I have some people that did small personal loans, like that I'm
That's
still
great.
paying back. And so
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
it's in here. Hi, he's rehearsing.
You know what? You got some raspberries that need to be picked.
I've been picking those raspberries.
They're all hanging in your neighbor's yard now.
They're getting out there.
The plant is like, oh, I don't know, free fruit. Hi.
Hi there.
This Candy and Aaron,
Hi,
and
Candy and Aaron. Hi.
Candy.
Good to meet you. I'm Janaea.
Hi, Janaea.
And what we're doing is we're taping this wonderful Peak Moment show with Jen about what she's doing.
Cool.
And are you? What's happening here?
these are like share members.
Get
And
Oh.
some bread.
You are lucky. Oh. So go ahead. Do whatever you're doing. Robin is there just taping as you go. So we just thought it'd be fun to have people. What actually I'd love to ask you is, how long have you been shareholders?
Well, they run for different amounts of seasons, so I guess that would be
two seasons.
seasons.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you liked it enough to do it a second time.
Yeah, I mean, the first time around, we actually were lucky enough to get one as a wedding gift from Jen. And it's good because we'll eat sweets like crazy. And as a part of the show, you get like sweets, you get like cookies with it, and you get like pie with it too.
Ooh,
And usually
pie.
they didn't make it home. So
Oh.
that was the problem. You should see our farmer's market stand. That's really
it's
hard.
pretty impressive this year.
Really?
Yeah, I've like bumped up how much stuff I'm bringing and to give people more choices, and it's gone over really well.
I'll bet.
think-
So do you do pretty well at nearly selling out with the more choices?
I don't always sell out, but I've been pretty close on the breads, selling out on bread a couple of times. Sometimes it's people are finicky about like when they buy bread. Sometimes if it's too hot, they don't buy bread. If it's too cold, they're not buying it. There's no rhyme or reason to what happens. But yeah, I think I've definitely made more money this year because I've had more choices for people.
So part of what you're learning to do is who are your customers and how do you meet their needs? And your CSA members have been part of
Yeah.
that tuning for you
Yeah.
to learn the size of shares and what to include in shares, other than more cookies and sweets or whatever. maybe, which you're extending out to the growers market. So it sounds like you're just continuing to learn all kinds of things.
Yeah, I would say, every week I'm making some like, oh, well, that didn't work. Or this year it was, my boyfriend is doing brats and hot dogs at the Shelton Market, and so I'm making the rolls for him, and it was a whole learning experience on how to make the rolls soft enough for, people to have on their brat without them being like those store-bought squishy ones that are not very good.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
I learned a lot about, if you add some oil, look how much softer they get. And, if you add some Vital Wheat gluten, it helps. And yeah.
So if somebody wanted to do what you're doing, any advice to give them that you've got?
I say go for it. Start small. And, if you start small and kind of get your feet wet, doing a little bit at a time, try not to add too much. you know, to be good at what you're doing by starting off slow and adding a little bit at a time.
I would have guessed that having to learn so many aspects to run a business, I mean, things that beyond the baking, the marketing and the finding eaters and shareholders and trying something new that people haven't tried and getting the word. There's a lot of new aspects that you
and there's still parts of it that I am not doing right maybe, or like don't understand quite well enough, but you know, it's been okay to just do it and learn as I'm going. And
great. That's a great attitude. Great attitude. Oh no,
you
look
just
at this.
Watch my stack
Look at
of
this.
like bread going.
Look at this.
This will be the one time where I drop it. Sorry, Robin.
No.
I do that every time I'm here.
Before they leave though, Jenny, you have to tell them about your baking marathons before you started the bakery.
Oh, we talked a little bit about that.
Okay,
the baking summits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. As long as that's in there.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks so much. So what haven't we covered? Well, could I have a taste test?
Yeah. I have a whole bunch of like cookies and bars that are for the farmers market.
Do you have any broken pieces? Do you have any things? I mean, I expect you don't have failures, but you might
that
have
happens
pieces.
periodically too. You know what I have extra of is some of the apple upside down cake.
I'd love a bite.
Would you like
I would
to
love a
taste
bite
that?
of that. Sure. Sure.
If you can grab over there by the speaker in the window, there's forks. Keys, that helps.
Oh my! I just want. I mean,
Well,
that's
you
a
can
big,
share it with
big
the other
piece.
people that are around.
Well, I can share it with Robin. Apple upside down cake. That's tender. It's nice. You don't over cinnamon.
No,
Some
I think
people
that
do,
people
and you
use way
don't.
too much cinnamon.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
And I like most of my stuff. I cut the sugar in about half.
Yes.
So there's
Yes.
too much sugar
You're my
and stuff. And
You're my kind of baker.
yeah.
I do the same when I bake. It's just
Yeah.
way too sweet. Eat your heart out. You would like this. I'm Janaea. You're watching Peak Moment, Locally Reliant Living for Challenging Times. And I'm here with Jen Owenby, whose 8 Arms Community Bakery, well, I think sometimes you probably do have 8 arms and you just don't let us know that. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.